Hey y'all, welcome back to the channel. As I record this, I'm like 4 subscribers away from 500. I can't believe it. Y'all have been so great and been so kind. Just really giving me a lot of encouragement to keep building, and lots of kind words in the comments on my channel. So I just really appreciate this community. What an accepting and loving community. Tonight we have a 1944 Deluxe convertible. This is the Revell kit. I built this about 22 years ago in the summer of 2001. I remember that specifically because I traveled to my grandma's house in Arkansas from college and was spending some time with her. And while I was there, I built this 40 convertible. And then when I left there, I had to go back west to New Mexico because I had a summer job at Glorieta Conference Center, north of Santa Fe, New Mexico, working there. And so when I went back to New Mexico, I had this car with me. So I had a little, case for it, and I put it on my dresser in my dorm room. And I had this little model with me all summer to remind me that I like cars and that I like building models. But also that's the summer I met my wife. We didn't date right away. We were just buddies for a few years, but we met at Glorieta, New Mexico in the summer of 2001. And so it's, those memories are often tied to these things. I remember when I built a car, depending on what was going on in my life at the time. And it kind of makes me wax nostalgic about, my life and what was going on when I built it. Anyway, this little convertible is pretty much box stock except for some spun aluminum wheel discs. These are the Saturn style wheel discs. Put some moon decals on there. I kind of decked the trunk and put the sanded off the little thing for the trunk handle, and then put the license plate down there. But I left the Ford Deluxe badge because I thought it was cool. This yellow is I remember it being a NASCAR yellow, like it was specifically made for Terry Labonte's Kellogg's number 5. So yeah, that's kind of a weird memory, but I remember that's what it was for. It's just the kit flathead with parts by Parks distributor. I usually just drill a hole in the end of the block and stick the distributor in there and then run the wires. That's how I do a flathead, with a pre-wired distributor. And so it's just all kit. And it's a great kit. One thing I can't remember is the dropped axle. I can't remember if I had to get the dropped axle from somewhere else, because I believe this kit that I got, no, I think it had the dropped axle with it, now that I think of it. Because the coupe kit came all stock only without the hot rod parts. No, yeah, this had the dropped axle. The interior is just like flat earth was the color, I believe it was called. And the steering column needs a little help. Like I said, this model is 22 years old. I need to get that back on there. But it had bare metal foil on the dash and on the sill plates and on the door handles, and that poor visor's getting ready to fall off. Maybe I can help it not fall off. But I just took my time. Sometimes a box stock build and just spend your time painting and detailing it can be really nice, not having to worry about all the different nuances of a custom build. I just detailed up the bottom, just some black and silver. I made some turn downs for the exhaust, and just pretty box stock. This is a great kit as far as 40 Fords go. I love the old AMT 40 Ford, but this Revell kit is just far superior in quality and detail. As you know, the standard, the coupe is a standard, and the convertible is a deluxe. So I've got an idea that I'm going to build a deluxe coupe. So I'll probably take the deluxe front end, starting at the cowl, off of a convertible body, and then take the standard front end off of a coupe body, and then merge the two to make a deluxe coupe. I've got an idea to build the the flipping 40 from the Robert Williams picture. I'll insert that right here. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. One of the things that people often get wrong on these 40 convertibles is on these convertibles, the center post in the windshield was painted because it was actually an integral part of the body. It was not separate. So there's two pieces of glass surrounded by a piece of rubber, and then the middle was painted. And so you kind of have to do some painting to kind of make it blend right here, to make it really appear like it actually is part of the actual cowl, integral to the cowl. On the closed cars, this was just a chrome strip that was removable, but on the convertibles or the convertible sedans, well, 39 was the last year for the convertible sedan. So on the convertibles, this is an integral part. Yeah, other than that, that's pretty much it. And, you know, 23-year-old build, still looking pretty good. Oh, this thing did get destroyed a few years ago, and I do remember having to source another axle for it because it fell off of a shelf or something. So it's been repaired, but it still looks pretty good. I do need to fix the steering column. But yeah, anyway, hope you enjoy the 40 Deluxe convertible. It's a great kit. Moving on to the 30 Model A Coupe. Man, I spent probably about 3 hours on this thing today, and it doesn't look much more finished than the last video, but I just did a lot of fine tuning on the body. There was a lot of fine tuning to do because if you've not seen this body before, this is a 30 Model A Coupe, but this is a 32 Ford 3-window coupe windshield and header that has been grafted into the Model A roof. And also the Model A has been chopped more aggressively than it was. A feat that I also pulled off today was I had to cut this windshield 32 3-window windshield frame into 4 pieces, cut it and glue it back together, and it fits like a glove. I can't believe how good it fits in there. So I'm really happy about that. I had a lot of work to do around the A-pillar because there's a seam that goes like this as I kind of grafted it in there, and then there's a seam right here. And then for some reason I cut this hole too big, so I had to build this area back up with super glue, and then I had to cut this roof insert to fit. And so, wait, is that backwards? Hold on a minute here. Here we go. Anyway, so I had a lot of work to do to kind of get that to fit, and now it does. And there are also some holes in the seams that needed to be filled, and so I got those all filled and just spent a good 3 hours fine tuning in the roof and then chopping the windshield frame. So this is Tamiya white primer. It's pretty much ready for paint. I don't know what I'm gonna paint it yet. I thought about painting it white, but man, I got bored thinking about painting it white because they come in white, and it's just hard to think about a hot red painted white. Another thing that I were doing a little bit ago was my wife was inquiring about the differences between a Model A and a 32, and it was really hard to explain to her because this Model A is so heavily modified. In addition, this is a 32 style frame that this Model A is on. So it's funny, like, when does a Model A cease to be a Model A? It's got a 32 frame, it's got a 32 windshield, a 32 windshield frame, okay? When is it not a Model A anymore? So it was hard to tell her exactly what's going on here, but I pulled out these other 32s back here to kind of help her see some of the differences. And if you want to see the videos on these 32s, they're on my channel. You just have to go look for them. But I was trying to explain to her some of the differences. But, you know, when they've been so modified, when they're hot rods, it's kind of hard to tell. But one of the big things that is usually never changed in a Model A is they always have a windshield visor usually. So if you see, you know, an old Ford Coupe and it has a windshield visor, like on the box art here, There's that windshield visor. Oh man, right there. That is a sure sign of a Model A Ford, as well as the chrome grille shell. Now that's not always a surefire thing, because many Model A's have 32 grills in them. That's a really common swap. They put this grill on a Model A. This Model A will have a 32 grill. And this Model A already has a 32 windshield, so this might really have caused people to scratch their head if they saw it in real life. One of the things I tried to tell her was that a Model A doesn't have the tank sticking out back here. 32s do have a tank, but on a modified situation, they sometimes bob that and move the tank and do a rolled rear pan. So, you know, when it comes to hot rods, it always can be really difficult. I've seen enough 32s and Model A's that no matter how modified they are, I can always tell one, but it becomes more difficult. Model A's are a lot more squared off in the back. They have a sub rail right here that's a separate piece under the body. And then, not to mention, there's the difference between the 2829 Model A's and the 3031s. And I don't have a 2829 here to show you, but even there, there's some differences there. The biggest one is the cowl. The cowl shrinks down a lot smaller on a 2829, whereas a 3031, it's the same size as the rest of the body and is more the size of a 32. So a Model A frame is also very flat and doesn't have this reveal. This reveal here, this swooping reveal, is a signature 32 Ford piece. So if you see what looks like to be a Model A body on a 32 frame, that's common swap too. You do have to pinch the frame a little bit on a 32 to make a Model A body fit, but it's been happening for 50, 60, 70 years, and a really common swap. So it's not easy to teach somebody who don't know a lot about cars the difference between a Model A and a 32, especially when it comes to hot rods and they're modified constantly, but it is interesting. So if you're interested in seeing the videos on the 32 four-door or the 32 drag sedan or the Bob McGee Roadster, they're all on my channel, but I'm gonna keep plugging away on this little Model A. I'm really happy how it turned out. My chop and my windshield graft is not perfect, but it's good enough for government work, as I would like to say, and I think it's gonna work just fine. Still trying to figure out a power plant, still trying to figure out a color, but getting the roof kind of like nailed down and finished is gonna allow me to kind of proceed on the rest of it. So do you got any ideas on how I should build that? I mean, I'm fully aware that it's my car. I can build it how I want, but always, you guys are a creative bunch, and I want to hear what you have to say. My creativity was to paint it white, and then I scrapped that, so I'm not going to be painting it white. I did paint the wheels, though. The wheels look really good. Let me get the wheels out here. I might leave the wheels white and do a contrasting or like a dark color on the body. That might look cool. So there's the wheels and tires, and I cleared those so they do have a shine to them. I don't know if you can see that, but anyway, yeah, that's the hammered Model A with the 32 windshield. I think it's pretty dang cool. Oh yeah, that's another thing. This is a 3-window coupe windshield and header, which, as you know, the 3-window coupes were completely different than 32 bodies than the other ones. The 3 windows were made by Murray, a completely different body company. So it can be even more confusing if you talk about the different body companies, because 32 3 windows were made by Murray, and there were some Model A's that were made by Briggs or Murray. And so depending on the body of Model A, or if it's a 32 3-window or a 32 sedan, you might have some nuanced differences that you might not notice. But I just told her, that's what a 32 grill looks like. If it's got a 32 grill and a gas tank sticking out the back, it's most likely a 32. If it's got a visor on the front of the body, it's most likely a Model A. But even then, as in this case right here, you can't ever be too sure, because this is a 30 Model A with a 32 Ford 3-window coupe header and windshield frame, which looks killer, and I'm really excited about. So Thanks guys for watching, and we're almost to 500 subscribers. It's amazing. We're gonna keep building. Take care.